Thanks for joining me today. We've had a few chats over the years. You've been very supportive to me when I started my business. And when I started this podcast, one of the first people I thought about was yourself. So if you could just share with the listeners who you are and what you do.
Thanks, Kenny. Yeah, it's been a journey between each other. I think we've got quite a lot in common. So I'm Mick Beavers, Managing Director, Company Owner, Control Valve Solutions. What I do as Managing Director, I've yet to find out after 17 years, but it's a bit of a supportive role. So any department in the business now, we've got the structure. I go in and support. That's pretty much my role.
That's what you do. Okay, so we'll come back to CVS, but I'd like to start with some social media posts you've made on LinkedIn in the past around mental health. They were 2 times suicide survivor.
That's right.
How did that come about? And for me, that resonates quite a lot. I've had tough times in the past. And how did you deal with that? What happened?
I think it's unfortunate, Kenny. There's so many people that have been through it. I'm lucky that I actually came through it. There was a time that I did want to switch the light off, which I don't find it too uncomfortable talking about. I'm quite transparent and open with it. Having tough times personally, tough times at home, tough times with work, tough times with marriage, etc. One thing led to another, and you find yourself in a pretty dark place, and it's difficult to get out of that place. And I think when you think you're at rock bottom and spiraling down, and you think you've hit that bottom shelf, the trapdoor opens, and there's 100 foot behind it, and you're looking up, and there's no way out. There was a time during that whole period where every single day something serious occurred, or something kicked me back, even when I woke up and found a little bit of strength. How you come through it, I don't really know. Life, I think. Somebody once told me, if you're at the end of the rope, tie a knot in it and hang on. I found a lot of inspiration from that, to be honest. And I've had loads of conversations with people, especially male colleagues, male friends, about mental health. It's a touchy subject, and I don't think, I hear a lot about we should talk more, we should get together more, but I think everybody's journey is totally different.
Yeah,
it's really, really difficult, and I think it's also dangerous if you start talking confidently about mental health and how you actually got yourself out of it. I think it's quite dangerous for somebody in front of you who might be going through troubles and who hasn't got that capability or that capacity or that coping mechanism that you've found. So for me, it's a really difficult one. I think the most important thing with mental health is you've just got to keep talking. No matter, even if somebody doesn't understand, just keep talking. You'll figure it out in your own head. Hopefully, you don't get to absolute rock bottom, because that's a bad place.
And you're a 2-time survivor, so at 2 separate times.
Yeah, it was similar sort of period. So around about 8 weeks apart, something like that. First time was pretty tough. Tough for the family. They had to come into hospital and see the aftermath. So not pleasant for them. To be honest, a little bit of a blur for me. The second time, wasn't great. Wasn't great either. It was, again, tough for everybody. I had to put on a brave act when I saw the psychiatrist. Had to tell them what they wanted to know, and got away with it with skin of my teeth. But thankfully, I'm still here.
And through that experience, you've created a culture, definitely at CVS. It's apparent through LinkedIn and social media.
Yeah.
I guess these things that you've experienced in your life, you've brought them into how you should run a company, or how you want to deal with people.
Yeah. I think I had a bit of a moment of clarity in my life. I woke up one morning and realised that I didn't want to bullshit anymore. I didn't want to be that guy. Didn't want to be that salesy kind of guy. I just wanted to be open, honest, transparent, and operate at at the best of my ability. And that was before starting CVS. I went to work for a couple of companies and felt that my values didn't align particularly well with them, especially the last employment that I was under. That was a difficult employment. I enjoyed it first half, and then the second half not so much. And I think it's just by looking at other companies, seeing the culture that they've created, negative or positive, and learning from that. That's how I've really instilled the culture that we've got at CVS today.
And when you say that company's values didn't match your values, what were your values?
Honesty, integrity, transparency, and safety. That's my personal values, but I've put them into CVS. So treat people like you want to be treated yourself. You know, at the end of the day, we're all human beings. I don't think I'm anything special because I run and own a 10 million plus company. It's that's not for me. Respect people right the way from administrators, apprentices, all the way through to directors and everybody else who you meet. Customers, supply chain, everybody in business. We're just human beings who are trying to get through life, and have a little bit of fun along the way as well.
And when going back to the mental health thing, when you came out and spoke, or when you posted on LinkedIn, what was the feedback on that, both personally and professionally?
I had to take a week off, so I'd actually had a conversation with my sister the previous night that night of doing the LinkedIn post, and I was actually feeling quite low. I spoke to my sister, and she didn't quite understand it, and then she started moaning about,
because you would get huge reach from that post. It probably your biggest ever post on LinkedIn.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was over 10,000 likes and well over 1,000 comments. I think maybe around 1,200, 1,300 comments, which I replied to every single one. I didn't expect it. I'd thought about doing something about mental health, speaking out about mental health, and just saying, be strong. It all came from the heart. It wasn't rehearsed. It wasn't scripted. I wrote it, I read it, and sent it. And thought, oh, that's weight off my shoulders, kind of thing. And if I can help somebody with this post, then
putting the post out helped you mentally as well.
Yeah, I think so. It definitely put me in a better place, and I just put words onto paper or social media, which I don't do a great deal of social media. LinkedIn is pretty much it. But yeah, the next day I woke up to, first and foremost, a lot of people asking me if I was all right in work in particular, which I think I've confused people in work a little bit. And I said, no, I'm absolutely fine. Maybe the picture didn't show that, but I am absolutely fine. It's more about helping others and myself. I'm stronger than that kind of thing. I had a wobble, but nothing absolutely major. But then comments from really all over the globe, America, Australia, people really struggling, blokes in particular, reaching out, saying they're in a real bad place, not sure how they can continue. And it was like, this is serious. I had to take a week off to answer everybody's post. I was personally talking to a few people, mainly in other countries. I had a few phone calls with people, and again, you've got to be careful what advice you give. I'm not a psychologist or anything like that. And I think, again, it can be quite dangerous.
Yeah.
Giving too much advice. All I can do is point them in the right direction. There are people out there, professionals out there. I could tell my story, how I survived, etc., and how I built up, what I've got today, get back on the horse kind of thing. But yeah, the post really took off in a big way.
I think we met for lunch a while back.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned, unfortunately, I think you had met with somebody who you felt was close to doing something, and then they ended up doing something, and you never.
Yeah, I didn't really pick up on it. I told my story. It was we had a really good night out. was a cooking kind of course in a kitchen, corporate kind of thing. Went out for a few drinks after that. Started talking about my experiences with one particular person who really was engaged and asked a lot of questions. And then asked if he could possibly come over and see me. So he came over, we sat down and shared more over coffee as opposed to over beer. And that's the last time I saw of him. And that was a real shocker for me to learn. There's other people who I think are pretty much well known in Aberdeen that have gone down the same path, and I've crossed their paths as well. It's a tough thing. But like I say, everybody goes through their own journey, and unfortunately, some people take it. The
last question on the mental health side.
Yeah.
What changes or what would you hope to see change regards mental health within the energy sector specifically? Do you think things have changed since your post a couple of years ago, or do you think there's still a lot that needs to change?
That's a tough question, Kenny. I'm in a good place. There's a lot of people that aren't, and I've spoke to quite a few of them recently as well. There are some groups that have formed which are they've looked to be reasonably successful. I think we've just got to continue talking about it, but I think the real help that's required, I think, is oversubscribed. So I think unless you're fortunate to have private medical insurance, it's quite difficult to get the support and the help that you need. I think that's the story that I'm hearing from a few people. That I spoke to about it. But as I always say to everybody, my door is always open if anybody wants to have a chat. Yeah. It is a real tough conversation to be having. I think the first and foremost, you've got to do that risk assessment on people. Are they in that end of hours kind of situation? And that's not a pleasant place to be in. And it's not pleasant to be understanding that as well. On the other side, you've got to make sure that the advice that you give, the directions that you've pushed people in are right. So,
and that's always a big part of the culture within your business.
Yeah, keep talking. I mean, I'll be honest. We had a situation a few years ago with a chap who was going through a real tough time. He's no longer with us employment-wise. Thankfully, he is on this earth. I think he's doing pretty well now. But he was working away. Nobody suspected anything. I took a photograph of him because he was sat on the floor, buffing quite a big seat ring. It just didn't look right in terms of what we'd set up. So I took a photograph to take to the senior management team and say, let's get some trellis tables and get him elevated and get him out of this. I didn't even think anything of it. I spoke to him, asked him if we could, elevate, etc. So it was just one of those suggestions. About an hour after that, he just stood up, walked out, went home and tried to end his life, which I thought of all people, I could spot depression. I could spot somebody who's suicidal, and I realised...
You just missed it.
You just can't see it. You can't see it. It's an invisible disease, illness, whatever, period. It's just... There's only one person that really can see it, and that's the person that's going through it, which is horrible to think. I couldn't believe that we didn't have a door that he could go through and just break down and spill it all out. That was horrible. I did a piece on that. I helped him out personally and obviously professionally as well. Thankfully, made a full recovery and everything was fine, but not a nice situation. Not nice. So from that, we created a mental health working group
within the company, just your company.
Yeah. We got some training, which it's not like first aid training. It's brutal.
Okay. So they've done that training.
3 people in total. They came back and their eyes were well and truly
Aberdeen based.
Yeah.
And that's what they do.
Yep. Mental Health Aberdeen.
Okay.
It was, I think 2 days or 3 days, intense training. And the feedback was it was pretty brutal. Some of the topics, the topic that they're talking about, the extreme of mental health illness or well-being.
And is that group still running today?
It's not, unfortunately. I think due to levers, we've taken our eye off the ball. It was before COVID. We lost a few people through COVID and after COVID. And I'm ashamed to say that it was only last week, maybe the week before, we walked into reception and there's the first aiders, there's the green team, there's the fire wardens, the pictures of them, and there's one missing, mental health first aiders. We don't have one trained mental health first aider at the minute, so we're currently looking for volunteers within the business. But
it's a tough one for somebody to take on.
It is.
Yeah,
it really is, Kenny. It is a tough one. I always say to people, my door is always open, but I wouldn't want to be a mental health first aider. I don't think I'd make a good mental health first aider, to be honest.
Who would?
Yeah, exactly.
We'll leave that just now.
Yeah.
Before we kick on to CVS and where we are now, who's Mick Beavers? Where did you grow up? What was your career path?
So I grew up in a small village called Whitwell, over in Derbyshire. It was in the middle of nowhere. It was a bit of a council kind of estate. I think my parents had bought the house from the council when I was an infant. It was a 3-story house. I lived in the loft or in the attic, as we called it. And from a very early age, I was taking things apart. So, Boxing Day, we never had much as kids, but whatever we did have, I'd raid my dad's tools and take things apart and hide it in cupboards in my bedroom. I had a car battery in there at one point, which my mum found. I used to build things, make things. I was always intrigued of doing things. I was doing oil changes on my sister's car when I was 12. 13, changing tyres and wheels, changing over the spare for the spare wheel, etc. Just after I turned 13, I decided to take a walk around. It was all farm fields, agricultural lands, animal breeding cows and sheep, etc. So I walked around all of the farms, knocking on the doors, asking if they want any work or if they got any work. I'm keen and eager to do anything. I eventually walked for around about 4 miles down to a pub, knocked on the back door and said, do you want anybody to do bottling up or cut the grasses or anything like that? And they took me on, £2.50 an hour. So I was working the weekends for the first 2 weekends, and then the pay went up to £3.50. Everybody had a pay rise, which £3.50 an hour is absolutely incredible. I was earning good money at 13 and a half, 14. And the culture was completely different. Village life is very different to city life. That was pretty much my childhood, youth, misspent. Started drinking very early and managed to get an apprenticeship when I was 16 at a very archaic limestone quarry, around about 6 miles away from where I lived. That was a difficult journey. My mentors were all ex-miners, very rough, very ready, very tough on you. I think they just passed it down, that was their journey. It was through an engineering company called Roxby Engineering, based up in Billingham, who were kind of BP sponsored. So in a strange way, I was mixed with oil and gas apprentices, and I was an instrumentation apprentice. So instruments are seen to be fairly high-end when it comes to discipline. You've got the instruments, the electrical, mechanical, and the three just do not get on at all, especially the Tiffys and the Mackies. The chalk and cheese, it really is. But I saw the gap when I was going up to Billingham to the training centre. The guys coming down from Aberdeen who were on oil rigs, for BP. They were just in a different league to what I was in. You know, they were dealing with true instruments where I was dealing with
so far advanced of.
Yeah. Just because of the industry. You know, the mines and quarries was totally different to oil and gas.
That was your first experience of Aberdeen and oil and gas.
So I didn't get up to Aberdeen until probably about 2 years, maybe 3 years into my apprenticeship. I actually came up with a couple of guys who had done a placement down at the Quarry that I was working with, and we got on really, really well. I absolutely loved Scotland in general, but you know, I loved Aberdeen. That was my introduction to Aberdeen. I knew at that time that I wanted to move, one to Scotland, but probably to Aberdeen. So quite early on, and then I met what now is my wife. So that kind of put a spanner in the works of coming to Scotland.
So she was not from Aberdeen.
She's not from Aberdeen. No, she's actually from Liverpool.
Okay.
So it was a bit of a holiday kind of romance. I should have been going to, or been invited to go to Ibiza. All my friends had gone to sixth form and then into uni. So once they'd finished sixth form, they're celebrated by booking a holiday to Ibiza. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it. I was on shutdown with the limestone quarry, but 5 of my mates did. I met up with 5 Scouse girls. Came home. I was the only one that was driving at that time out of all of us. My best mate, Richard, said, I've met somebody. Do you fancy coming up to Liverpool? I said, yeah, sounds good fun. He said, the only thing is you'll have to drive. I said, oh, okay, I get it. I get why I'm
why you've been invited.
Yeah, exactly. He showed me photographs. It looked great, and one girl stuck out, Jen, and he said, that's Amy's best friend. Good luck with her. And I met up, and I fell in love straight away, just there and then. Jen, not so much.
You had to work on her.
Yeah, it took about 6 weeks, 3 or 4 visits, and then she decided to give in, and we started seeing each other. I travelled over to Liverpool every Friday, and then back home to Whitwell every Sunday night in my little mini metro, screaming down the M62 and up down the M1. Till I upgraded, I got an escort, which was quite quicker.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the introduction to my wife, and then I decided the limestone quarry wasn't for me. We amalgamated the electrical department. Now I'd done 16th edition IE wiring regulations, so kind of qualified me to be Sparky's mate.
Okay.
A domestic, not 3-phase, 415, 400 amp, bars. Yeah, it was different, completely different league. I qualified as a Tiffy, as an instrument tech, but thrown in the deep end with the electrical department. I was really uncomfortable. I went on call, so you got paid for being on call. At 2 o'clock in the morning, my dad shouted me through. The phone had gone before the days of mobile phones, and said they need you down at work. So I screamed down. The big rotary kiln fires up at 1700 degrees C. It's 110 metres long, 3.5 metres wide. There's 2 of these things next to each other. When you've walked the length of it, your heart melts. It was horrific, horrific kind of environment. So this thing was on the Barry motor, which is pretty serious. Stop it from bowing. I went down to the control room and I could smell burn, and I opened a cabinet and there's 2 400 amp fuses exploded. So all the ceramics were, everything melted all over the place. I just looked at it and thought, no. Shut the cabinets, walked away. I said, you'll have to phone Sparky. It's not for me. Next day I hadn't been noticing. So then I went to work for an electrical company, believe it or not, but they wanted to get into instrumentation. It didn't quite work out. Then I got a phone call very shortly after from a manufacturing company called Mason Elam, part of the Dresser Group back then. They were looking for qualified technicians to work on the assembly line for control valves. I'd worked on some control valves before, but the calibration side really interested me, so I went up for an interview. It just happened to be in Skelmersdale, and just so happened to be about 8 miles away from where Jen was living. I was looking after my sister's house at the time. She'd just got married, and the phone call came through on the answer phone. I didn't think much of it until I went for the interview and asked how they got my number. And I thought, it's my sister's number they've actually got. And he said, well, we've got your CV. That was, you'd sent us your CV. I said, I've not sent your CV, but turns out my mother-in-law had sent the CV in. So I got offered the job. Mother-in-law said, it's all sorted, you can come and live with us. Jem was in university doing sociology and psychology at that time, so we couldn't get a house together. It was a decent salary package on the assembly line. Enjoyed it. Lasted about 4 months before I got poached into the office to work in projects. That was interesting. Met some real good people, and that's really, I think, where I found what work is all about, what working life is all about anyway.
Okay.
The team that we had in that office was special. They were...
So how do you find out about working life there in an office when you've been in mines and everything else, quarries?
Well, like I said, I think that the mines and quarries was just an experience that I just was so happy to turn the page. It just wasn't a pleasant place. Everybody was an arsehole.
Yeah.
One or two weren't, in case they're watching this podcast. Yeah, one or two weren't, but majority of them were arseholes. Horrible people, to be honest. Yeah. So I just walked away from that.
So going back to the office.
Yeah, going from the shop floor into the office, there was a bit of a culture, and I didn't get it, but it definitely is it's a union thing, and I think it's very strong in Liverpool. So there's an us and them, there's an office and the blue collar, white collar kind of thing. It took me a while to really understand that, and I don't really do politics, so I don't care.
Yeah.
I really don't entertain it. So when I got booed into the office and welcomed into the office, if that makes sense. So booed from the shop floor. There's a lot of people on the shop floor. They thought I'd turn the back on them, but they soon realised that my attitude didn't change when I went into the office. And it was a culture shock for me. The first desk job,
yeah, that
I ever had. But I was passionate about it. Really enjoyed it. Got under the skin of the customers, and then somebody asked me what the sales manager, sales director, David Lim. He came and sat on my desk when I was working some overtime, and he said, "Are you happy in what you're doing?" I said, "Yeah, really happy." He said, "Do you not think you'd fancy sales?" And I said, "I don't know." I said, I'm interested in anything." He said, "I think you should come over to sales." So he kind of took me under his wing. It took me about 6 months to really understand the sales process. Got a lot of training, sizing and selecting a control valves, and that was really exciting because academically, school-wise, I didn't do well. So going into any training courses, I was always wary. I went through college and did all right in college because it was something that was of interest.
More manual.
Yeah.
Hands-on.
Yeah, there was classroom-based as well, but I could relate to it, whereas, maths in school, algebra and stuff like that, it's just like, why? What's the purpose of it? Where do I use it? Kind of thing. But, learning about capacitors and resistors and all that kind of good stuff, I could put it into practice. So I am more of a practical person. But yeah, the theory that I gained at Mason Elam was incredible. There's some very intelligent people. And I really got under the skin of sizing control valves and learned a skill, really. So I became an applications engineer, severe service. Became quite well known in the control valve industry in the UK. Anybody who had major control valve problems with Mason Elam, they'd come through to myself. If not me, somebody down London who I learnt everything I knew off. Then I became internal sales team lead. So I had a team of salespeople under me. I always say arrogantly, I was doing the sales director's job. I was doing all the reports. We were reporting to the Italians. I was doing all the monthly reports for the sales director. I used to think it's just mental. You must be getting paid a fortune. And
this is the one that took you under his wing.
Yeah,
there's a reason why.
Yeah, there's definitely something in that. I did about 4 years at Mason Elam. We bought a house and got married. first house. Like I say, got married. That was great. Got married over in Rhodes when we were 23. We got married. It's 25 years this year. Yeah, it was a cracking time, and I learned a lot. I enjoyed starting to deal with customers more and more, and I wanted to spread my wings. I wanted to go out on the road, be a sales rep, an area sales rep. There was a position came up in the northwest where I was located, so that's great. I'm going to get a Monday. I'm going to be going out, and I can size and select when I'm at home. I can visit the customers, get the real application issues, feed it into the office and how the office works and how production works and how the business works. It's great. So I had it all planned out, went into David, and he said, "No, not yet, kid. You're not quite old enough to go out on the road." And I thought, sod that. Let's hand your notice in. So I handed my notice in the next day, which he tried to stop. Made a phone call to a company based over in Chesterfield who did valves and instrumentation, so a bit of both. And it was also close to where I was born. So I went to work for them as sales manager, covering the whole country, up and down. I'll be honest, I was the worst sales manager on the planet. One day I'd be in Southampton, next day I'd be in Dundee. I did do no account planning whatsoever. I love driving. I got a brand new Mondeo estate, I just bombed it out.
Yeah.
That's it, 110 mile an hour every day.
Yeah.
Going from paper mills to refineries to chemical plants to dog food factories. The amount of industry that I've seen was it was just fantastic. 5 years flew by, absolutely flew by. So I left there, went to work for Valve. I thought I was going to retire with them. Nick Burke, incredible story. I was fascinated by the whole process, and it was my real introduction to oil and gas. They put me through my survival. I went to install a specialist valve, a mock valve on one of the unmanned platforms. I got plonked on the platform and left with another guy. An owl came down, and so I don't know, it's a bit bizarre, but in the middle of North Sea, southern sector, a little owl just taking a rest. I had it smile from ear to ear. I'd never experienced oil and gas, of all the industries that I'd visited. So yeah, that was great. But then Nick Bird sold out to John Denham at the Denham Group, the Denham Oilfield Services.
Is that what brought you up here?
Yeah. No, sorry. I came up here a lot. I came up visiting clients, all the oil and gas operators, one in particular, Talisman, I was doing really well with. They had some big problems with recycle valves, which managed to sort out through what was then Denham Valve Care. But yeah, it wasn't pretty. Towards the end, so 2009, Jen and I had our second child, little boy. Not a great childbirth, so I was looking after Jen and Ted, our newborn, and Chloe, my daughter. When I got a phone call asking to attend a meeting down in Balfcare, did the wrong thing, made the wrong choice, drove down to Lincoln, attended the meeting that I really didn't need to be a part of. So I thought, that's it. That's my days at that company done.
You seem very quick to make your mind up when you know it's done. It's done.
Yeah. I think you've got a life. I had a life-changing moment somewhere in the middle of all that.
Yeah.
Which my values completely changed, and I knew I'm a grafter. I'm a good worker. I'm a hard worker. I've got a level of intelligence that gets me places. I've got emotional intelligence, so I can deal with absolutely anybody. So I'm never going to be out of work. It doesn't scare me in the slightest. It's I've stared death in the face. Work is just work.
Yeah.
It's once it starts affecting you up here, that's it. It's time to call it a day. Yes, move on. Be treated like you want to be treated, and treat others like you want to be treated, etc. So yeah, left, went back home. Didn't tell the wife. 2 or 3 weeks later, she's asking when I'm going to be returning. I think I was getting under skin a little bit by that time.
And they piss her off a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. I actually got a job to go to. So I explained what had happened. So what are you going to do? I said, I don't know. And I'll be honest, at that point, I think I'd realised I was unemployable. I could get a job, but I can't get on with a lot of the management teams. I like things to be transparent, and it's not because I'm a control freak or anything like that, but if we're working as a team, we're working as a team. We need to know what we're doing it for, how we're doing it, why we're doing it. If something goes wrong, let's tell the customer, let's work with the customer, let's turn it around into a positive. But most companies that I've worked for previous to that didn't have them values. And then the penny dropped. Start a control valve business. It's just that easy. You don't need a facility, you don't need manpower, you don't need anything. It's just a consultancy firm. So that's kind of what I did with a stolen laptop from Denham Valve Care, which I didn't mean to steal. I just didn't return it. They didn't ask for it. So I set up a website, registered the company, created a logo out of Microsoft Paint. All very professional, Kenny. Yeah. Got an email sign off and started doing some marketing myself, saying I'm here for all your control valve needs. Whatever problem, I've got my offshore ticket. I can size, select, I can fix valves onshore, offshore. I'm coming to your office, talk about applications.
So that's through basically all that experience, observing the industry, identifying where the problems were, and then going for there. And was it just the fact that you decided, or you felt unemployable at that point, that you thought, I'm going to start my own company up?
Yeah. I thought if you think you can do it better than others, then do it. Then do it. But I'll be honest, the business plan wasn't what it is today.
Yeah, but it never is.
Yeah.
Especially 16 years later or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you took out a 15 grand kitchen loan.
You've done your research. Yeah, well done. So, very quickly, I'd got a phone call from Talisman to ask if I could mobilise onto the Montrose Alpha. The platform was down. It was a Sunday. Platform was down. Would I be able to get on a chopper in the afternoon and go and sort it out? I said, yep, absolutely. I'll make my way up. It was 400 miles, or 360 mile door to door. So halfway up, I realised I haven't got any tools. My coveralls that are in the car, I've got valve care on them. I'm going to have to stop and get tools and try and unstitch the valve care logo out of the coveralls. So I went to B&Q. I got a Mickey Mouse toolbox, filled it with full of tools. I went offshore. Got met by Andy McDonald, the OAM. Everybody would stare at me as if I was royalty, because nobody flies on a Sunday, especially when it's foggy. They'd brought in a special pilot. Went down to where the control valve was. There's quite a few people around, and I could see straight away what the issue was, which was quite embarrassing. Tried to get the OAM away from the workplace, just to save some embarrassment on instrument techs and instrument supervisor Martin Conway's head, and said, you've got water ingress in your positioner. It looks like a fishbowl. So we took it off. We put a new one on from the stores. We calibrated it. It was easy. Yeah, they could have done it on shore, but they're scared of control valves, and that's.
What did you get paid for that job?
£1,600 a day.
Did you stretch it?
I didn't. The fog Talisman did. So I had a meeting back at the beach via video conference in the OAM's office. And, they were absolutely delighted. Big American guy, Wayne Jackson, superb guy, asset manager, no longer works for them. I mean, he's doing his own thing over in Canada now. We got on pretty well. And he asked me if I could stay out. I said, yeah, what are you thinking? He said, well, could you stay out for 3 weeks? I can just about stretch that. Yeah. I'm trying to do the math in my head, thinking,
how much am I making? Did you have any other work?
No. No, this was...
Stayed up for 3 months.
Exactly. I'm starting to shake, thinking this is incredible. This could be the best move I've ever made in my life. We used to do quite a bit of camping with the kids. I remember phoning my wife saying, "Sob the tent, we're going to buy a caravan." We were getting a bit excited, so I did a survey on C5015 gas compression module, the boundary isolation valves, recycle valves, temperature control valves, pressure control valves. I did a real good job. Went back to Talisman's house, presented it to quite a few people, quoted it as if I was project managing it, and that's where things got a little bit serious. People started asking me, where's my facility, where's the manpower, what test equipment do I have, what certification do I have. I felt quite confident at this point. I was saying, none of this. I don't have a facility, I don't have tooling. But logistically, the country's only small. I know every single valve repair company up and down the country. I'll pick the best facility that can cater for this project. I will be the project lead on it, both offshore and onshore. We'll go and take them out offshore, containerize them, bring them back to the beach, do the overhauling repairs. All of the spares will be waiting for us. It'll be like clockwork, and I'll pick the best team, best facility that I can find. That's my problem. But it'll be a professional job. The big Canadian Wayne, he said, no, we want your facility, your manpower, your equipment. So it's just not in the business plan, Wayne. He said, well, grow a pair of balls and change your business plan. Well, that was a bit of a moment, to say the least, because I had no idea what the hell he was talking about. Meeting was a journey, came over, and he said, I'm serious. Change your business plan and we'll support you. So he pledged to give me quite a bit of work during the lead up to the shutdown, but I would have to get a facility, etc. So he asked about the £15,000. I realised on my way home when I'd said, yeah, we can do this. I had no money apart from the job that we'd just done. So there goes the caravan. So I need more money. We're going to need a fair bit of cash to get this off the floor.
But you knew you had the guarantee of work.
Yeah, I didn't know how much. Budgets weren't a thing for me back then. Kind of winged it all, if I'm being honest, in 2009. Didn't have a clue what I was doing, but was enjoying doing whatever I was doing. Yeah. And if it failed,
And you made that 3-week trip, was that 3 months' money at the time, or 6 months' money at the time?
Yeah, it was a hell of a lot more than what I'd been, at Valvecare. But obviously, it's different. I was naive. I was naive back then. But I made an appointment to go and see Black Horse Financing in Liverpool Docks. I went. I was really nervous. I was probably the nervousest I've ever been going into a meeting. It was. If I get found out here, I'm absolutely knackered. They wanted three months' wage slips, and it was very close for me leaving Valvecare, and I realised, actually, I think I'm around about okay. I'll wing it. So I took in 3 past wage slips, went through the process, and they said, what's the loan for? And I thought, here it is, here's the question. So just kitchen, the house upgrade. So, good, so it's adding value to the house. Yeah. I'd already put a kitchen in myself a few months prior to that.
So it was fresh in your head, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought, if they did come knocking, not that they would, but if they did come knocking, then there's the kitchen. If the business fails and I couldn't pay the repayments, I did put it in the kitchen. So I walked out of there and I thought, wow, I've got 15 grand plus. We're off to a good start with Talisman. So my next point of call was to employ. First person I employed was actually a computer programmer.
Okay.
So I realised if I'm starting business, it's going to be big. We're going to do it right. We're going to do it right from the start. And what's all the companies that I've worked for, the companies I've been a part of, what's been the stumbling block? And for me, it's been administration. It's been administrators passing paper from one to another, one system to another system to another system, and so inefficient. Really frustratingly inefficient when you've not got control of that. So I decided I'm going to build a computer software package called CVS Manager that will run the business from start through to finish. So right way from visits all the way through to invoicing, with everything in the middle, including QHSE, work order processing, purchase orders, all of that good stuff, and all the personnel stuff, all of the staff appraisals and everything, just absolutely everything. One program. I've not seen one that does everything, so why not invent it, create it? So I took on a developer, Mark, who's still with us today. 17 years later, he's got a lot less hair and is a lot more grey. I've seen him get married twice, being the best man for him once. He now lives in Aberdeen and loving life. And we've got two devs now, so two full-time computer coders that have been building this software package for 17 years, and it's bigger than the business, Kenny. It really is.
What did Talisman's work turn it to be?
100% of CVS. So in the first year, 356,000. Second year, 750,000. Third year, 1.53 million.
So it was a massive catalyst for the whole business.
It was huge. It was huge. But Talisman were enjoying it as much as I was enjoying it. Then we got introduced to Blue Water. So we had a second person that I employed, Graham. I employed him to set up the first workshop. Find the workshop in first.
Is this the one by the golf course?
No,
was it one before
that was the second. There's one before, Backstreet Garage called Link Street. It was a Backstreet Garage.
Yeah.
But we'll have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
We outgrowed it very quickly. I think the lease was 17,000 a year. I'm now paying 55,000 a month. So a little bit of a difference to what we've got today.
Yeah.
Definitely is. We were burst at the seams. We took on another business unit next to it and another business unit next to that. And it was just getting ridiculous. What we did back then is no different to what we do today, just on a bigger scale, probably more professional, more people doing it. But we had the same values and beliefs. HITS was created in Link Street. The culture was created in Link Street. The workflow, how we operate, how we strip valves down is exactly how we did it in Link Street.
And did you develop that control, that system?
Yeah, it's huge.
And it's still being used today. Yeah. I'm guessing your developers have developed it and tweaked it. And
yeah, it'll never be complete ever. There's still lots to do with it. But what's nice, everything used to be my idea with it. Now it's a collective, so every single member of the staff uses CVS Manager. We all operate on 3 screens, and one of them screens is always CVS Manager, if not 2. Two screens. It's web-based, so 2 screens open with CVS Manager. We're completely paperless. We don't have
white label that product.
No, it's secured. The business owns it.
That's what I mean. Could you sell it as a white label product for other companies?
We could, but we're busy creating something special, Kenny. Why would we? I'll be honest, when I first set out, and obviously taking the 15k loan, we joke about it now, but it was serious back then. Probability of failure is pretty high.
For most businesses.
Absolutely. So we're going to build a safety net. I knew Mark was an absolute genius, and I knew I could coach him and guide him to create this software package. If I told him what it needs to look like, what it needs to operate, how it needs to work, how it needs to flow, how it's entwined, we can make something special. And if CVS fails, we can pull this intangible asset away from the business and we can go and market it.
Yeah.
We had a look at it a couple of years ago, taking it to market, and it's something that it's still a possibility. It's still of interest, but we are busy. Yeah. Still creating something special. Yeah, we're not done yet with what we're doing day to day. So it would take a hell of a lot to
undo that.
Take it. It's a completely new team. It'd be a tough one.
Moving away from, obviously, Talisman was pretty much the whole business for the first 3 years. So when did you start to get new business?
I think when we got introduced to Business Gateway, a guy called John McQuestion. Good God. He propped up in his, I think it was a Rover 75, but it could have been a Rolls Royce the way that he was driving it. And it was pristine as well. And he got out, it was dripping in gold, and he had a suit on, everything. He said, I'm John McQuestion, Business Gateway, you need me in your life. And shook my hand, and I was like, what is this? Who are you? Yeah, exactly. I had no idea, but he'd done a little bit of research. So there was no funding available, but there was a lot of assistance, business planning. So I very quickly got a mentor, a guy called Chris Greenhouse, great guy. I'd converted my loft into an office. That was the first place that CVS went in. A garage was the second place. We actually did an outage at British Sugar on my garage path. We were wrapping valves up in cling film, Kenny. It was incredible. We took the valve apart and we'd overhauled it in my garage, put it all back together, and realised that it was actually too heavy for two of us to pick up. But we've got DHL coming to. We had no forklift truck or anything. I'm knocking on neighbours' doors, saying, "Give us a lift with this." No lifting plans or
Nothing.
Different.
It was irrelevant.
Yeah, exactly. Different.
Just if you went for yourself and your 15 grand loan to your first dev,
yeah,
to new 50 staff. What's been in for 350 odd thousand in the first year to 10 million now? What's been the significant milestones in that 17-year journey? What's the key points that you remember and think we've actually done something here, we've moved forward?
I think moving Link Street, moving from Link Street to Badintoy was a big move for us. You know, the rent increased significantly, but I mean we were getting involved with all sorts. There's Arctics turning up in this little compound, and honestly, I wouldn't say it was unsafe, but it was borderline. We had no real lifting capabilities back there. We were just flying, absolutely running. We'd been introduced to a business expert who took us off site somewhere. Myself, Chris Greenhouse, my mentor, I actually employed him as operations manager. Mac Stevenson as sales manager. And the three of us really built that business up to the point where what do we do next? You know, we can't carry on with this. We've got all our eggs into one basket with Talisman. Our competitors' turnover was going down as ours was going up. So we were clearly doing something right. And there was a bit of rivalry there. But then we asked the question, are we financially secure enough to actually take on this next chapter, the next facility? And that was, you know, you'd gone from going into Black Horse and getting a 15 grand personal loan to actually going to the bank and saying, we need to open up the overdraft. We're going to get into another facility and we need some debt management. It was big.
Big numbers.
And I'll be honest, when we picked up
a stress or pressure,
I don't.
Or your business was secure. You had so much coming in that you were confident.
I don't really do stress, Kenny. It's I don't do stress. I don't sleep at night. I think if that's stress, then that's what it is. But I'm fairly grounded with things. It's nobody's dying. You know, it's business. That's all it is. It's just business. So we'll give the clients what we want to give them. I've got this ambition to be the best in class in Aberdeen.
You still use the Formula One model?
Yeah, we've got the F1 dream.
Yeah,
that's what we're aspiring to be. I think we might be a John Clark at the minute.
Okay. So where are you on the pit line?
Like I say, I think we're a John Clark garage. I think we're an Audi kind of garage at the minute. We've not quite made it to Formula One.
Okay.
But we've not realised what we set out to achieve after that first 3 years. Once we realised that we got our eggs into one basket, and if anything happened with Talisman, we'd be absolutely knackered. We started opening up to other clients, and that's where Mac came in as sales manager. We got an internal sales guy. We went into Badintoy, thought it'd be rattling around, but I think customers saw that we'd gone from this to this, and all of a sudden, overnight, the company had doubled, not just in turnover,
in staff.
And
how do you keep obviously the culture is very important to you.
So we were building it back then. It wasn't,
but it wasn't as you had more and more people.
Yeah, it was easy because it was exciting.
Okay.
People
were engaged.
Yeah, I was on the shop floor a lot, and we worked hard, but we played hard. We did everything right. We did everything professional. We had audits. We had ISO 9001, and we took everything seriously. But everybody had to knock their pan in. But we enjoyed it. There were songs on the road. We introduced KPIs, the songs on the radio, and the guys were chanting in the workshop about KPIs. It was linked to another song. It was PPI when PPI was out. It was great. It was a great time. We took on a big project with an FPSO, a dry docked over in Nig. I think we had 6 guys crawling all over it, taking valves and bringing them into the facility. And a job turned into a $500,000 job. It was insane.
Yeah.
It really was. There was valves turning up that we didn't know. I didn't think we were going to get paid for any of it. We got paid every penny. It was well constructed. And then 2017-18, it just become ridiculous. We'd got up to 4.5 million, 5 million, something around there. We were heading for a serious 7 million very, very quickly. And we panicked a little bit. We were talking to the golf course next door saying, can we borrow your car park? Because in the day, our car parks
share your car park there.
Valves. Yeah. The amount of cars could just about fit in the car park, but not with valves.
Yeah.
There were valves just everywhere. Yeah, it was crazy. It'd take us an hour to empty the workshop into the car park in the morning and same at night. So we decided to take on the property project, raised £1 million and got into the facility that we're in today. And we said, this is going to be it. We can...
Your forever home.
Yeah, ish. With some expansion. We knew we could do 15 million out of that facility if we plan it right, and that's where we're at today. So, we've had last 2 years doing over 10 million. We're well on track to do probably a good 12, maybe 13 million this year. So we are getting close to that 15 million. Makes me a little bit nervous.
Yeah. So CVS now, 95% of your business is UKCS?
Yeah. We do a little bit out of the North Sea. We've touched base in Africa, got a few clients over there. But yeah, 95% North Sea and Northern sector.
And North Sea, especially during the 16, 17 years you've been running CVS, very positive for the first 4 years, I think. And then it went to shit after that, and then it's been climbing back up. But it's very cyclical. We've had the downturn. It's
been challenging, yeah. It's been challenging, but I love
COVID,
I love a challenge.
Everything else. So, how have you navigated all the issues, and growing, continue to grow year on year?
It's my own, Kenny, and we've got a big team that have created it. We can't let ourselves down. We always say we've not come this far to only come this far.
Yeah.
The wheels are turning. We're a profit-making business. Yeah, we've had its challenges when we've lost money. It's been because of the downturn or COVID. First year of COVID was absolutely fine.
What's the biggest challenges you've experienced then?
Probably COVID was one of... probably COVID was one of the biggest. We dealt with a company, and I'll not name the company. We dealt with a company. We were doing a lot of business with them, and they decided to give us a valve management contract, which I thought, this is great. It's a big part of our business. They're going to give us this contract. It just locks us in. That'd be great. When we found out the assets that were assigned to, that was pretty tough. It had halved the business overnight. So trying to find the bridge for that was really tough.
Did that take a period of time?
Yeah, but we had to work quick. I had a fantastic sales manager at that time, Mac. Mac and I, we didn't just work together, we lived together. We had a flat up in Aberdeen. We worked extremely hard, seeing clients, doing sales strategies, working out what our next move was, what the future held. And we used to work till very late at night. We'd go and have a few pints in the evening, forget to eat, and then start all over again at 6 a.m. And
when you're going through a challenge like that, how does that affect Jen life?
So Jen came into the business in 2010 when my accountant got hold of my copy of QuickBooks. So in 2010, I was spinning all the plates: QHSE, accounting, sales, just absolutely everything, creating everything. the accountant took one look at the accounts and said, "What the have you done here?" I just thought
easy done.
Thought it was simple.
Yeah.
It's QuickBooks. It's just a program. I did this invoice, that. It was a mess. So they unwound it for me, and they said, "You really need an accountant." That's where Jen stepped in. Jen was a full-time mum at that time. We're getting to the point where she wanted to get back into work, but she was a child psychologist, social worker. She didn't. I don't know if she wanted to really get back into childcare, but she took the plunge, and I made her co-owner. So we're 50-50 or 49-51, but it matters. So she's still in the business there. So she's financial director.
So she was well aware then of.
She's well aware of challenges up and down. The biggest challenge that Jen and I face is not talking about it in the evening.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk about it in the evening. I got to a point where it just ruled my life. I became type 2 diabetic whilst having the business. That's not pleasant. I've had side effects of that health condition, and will continue to have it. And stress is the biggest factor when it comes to diabetes. That's the one thing you can't take tablets for.
So you just try and keep that at bay.
Yeah, try and keep it calm. Just try not to. When things like COVID happen, I mean, the business is the business, Kenny. I've always said, if we have to shut the doors, we have to shut the doors, and we'll have done well. Don't want to. We've got 50 people who are fantastic. Every one of them are fantastic, and people that have worked for us and left for whatever reason. They've all been great. Some have come back. Some haven't. So that when it comes to stress, it's how they're affected. That's what plays on my mind.
You spoke about that, and I think on social media as well. But during COVID, you had 50 people to look after, 50 people to support, make sure they were safe.
Yep.
How did you do that?
Well,
what did you introduce? Was that just you?
We had a great QHSE manager, Simon Rowlands. And he came into the business, and he was definitely a CVS guy. He really was. He gave his heart and soul into it and made some real good changes. He transitioned from Badentoy to Minto. He transitioned from 9001 2008 to 9001 2015, and then he got 45001. So he was constantly putting processes, procedures, work instructions in, and I was signing paper, and I thought I read every single one until COVID or coronavirus cropped up, and we were, I think, days away from understanding that we were going to be locked down. And we got together as a management team, and things were pretty good. Then we had a strong management team. We always had a laugh, but we always did the serious piece as well. We always met once a month. We knew exactly what the business needed and what we gave it what it needed. We dealt with absolutely everything. As a cohort, I think there was 5 of us. I was absolutely shitting it when coronavirus came in. I thought this could be the end. It really could, because I don't know what this looks like. If we all go home, what the hell do we do? But we got round a table, and I actually said to Simon, I said, if I was you, I wouldn't be sat there looking so confident. I've been as nervous as hell. This is your remit. Yeah. And he said, why would I be nervous? We've got a procedure for this. I said, oh, we've got a procedure for coronavirus. It's called flu pandemic procedure. You signed it off last year. I said, come again? So he brought it up on the screen, and we went through it, and I couldn't believe what I was reading, Kenny.
You must have been one of the only companies
I genuinely believe
that had one.
I genuinely believe we were. I'm not making this up. I'm totally transparent. It was there. He said, all we need to do is change the word flu to coronavirus, and that's exactly what we did. We had a one-way system built into the procedure. We had screens built into it, or working from home.
It was all there.
It was all there. We had still got a fantastic IT company, Nimbus Blue. Shout out to them. David Torres and his teams. We pay them a lot of money a month, and sometimes in business you question
where the value,
the worth.
Yeah.
When coronavirus hit, we had the IT infrastructure. Send people home like that. It just worked.
Yeah.
It worked. We had Teams. We had Office 365. We were the ones that were leading for a small business. It was incredible. Everybody who could work from home, we got working from home. We'd sent our apprentices home on full pay, not to work from home because they can't, but they can't work in the business. So we had to look after them. And the first year, we rode it really well. Nothing much changed, to be honest, apart from that home working and the segregation, the masks and all that. That was a pain in the arse. But business was doing all right because we had a really good order book.
Yeah.
But I think when you
slowed down.
Yeah. When you're in that comfort zone and things are happening and you're trying to keep everybody safe, a lot of the good stuff that you come together as a team when you're not a team anymore go out the window. Yeah. That's a lesson learned for me.
Well, our team are a creative team. You know, they're designers, videographers, whatever, and I just feel that works better as a team.
Absolutely.
When they're bouncing ideas and also speed. You know, somebody creates something, they show somebody else, they get feedback, automatic feedback rather than the following day or whatever. So for the type of stuff we do, I think working as a group is massively vital.
I think any business, Kenny, I really do. You know, everybody's got ideas, and that's why you have these teams. You have the leadership teams, etc. The second year was horrific. The order book had pretty much depleted, and we realised there was no orders coming in.
Yeah.
We were getting in touch with clients. They'd all gone home, switched their phones off, and bought dogs. They had sold the cars.
Everybody had a dog.
Everybody went walking for an hour a day, or maybe longer. The power that the platforms, the installations used to have was taken away. It all became the purchasing team. It was that's where the orders were placed. So we couldn't influence it. Revenue went down tremendously, and we were really panicking, and business was starting to hemorrhage. Really hemorrhage. I mean, we tapped into the furlough. We tapped into as much as we possibly could, and it was I can't tell you how tough it was. So I think when you say what's the toughest, I think that is it. But it was what was staring in front of me. My QHSE manager really started struggling from a mental health point of view, and all the team were the same. My sales manager Ryan, he couldn't take the pressure. It was too raw, too painful, and he had to bolt out the back door. He got an offer that he couldn't refuse from another company that was doing probably better than what CVS was doing at that time. So he left. My ops
He's back with
manager,
you now.
He certainly is.
Yeah.
My ops manager fell off a cliff. Every time I walked into Jen's office, she burst into tears. It was hellish. Real hellish. And I felt the weight of the business firmly on my shoulders at that point. But we pulled through. I think if ever there's been a business pressure tested at CVS.
That was it.
Yeah, definitely. My accountant thinks we're bulletproof, but I don't think that. Don't think that highly. I don't think we're bulletproof. We're just resilient.
And I think that's the key thing.
Yeah.
But I think for entrepreneurs, that's a big thing for a lot of people. You've got to be resilient, especially when you're starting off. There's a lot of shit. There's a lot of negatives or no's. And you've got to be persistent. And we had the same thing during COVID. I think we had like 2 months' money in the bank, and you're kind of thinking, hey, we kind of wasted 4 years now because this is all going to shit, and we're done.
Yeah.
But as what it is. But you spoke about 360, having all the tech and everything else. So away to the office and into CVS. What kind of technology is being introduced now? Obviously, the world is changing. We're seeing lots of technology improvements, AI, smart valves, all this kind of stuff. Where is CVS with technology?
Yeah, so we've tried to adopt as much technology as we possibly can. You know, we work very closely with Emerson Process Management, one of the biggest companies in the world, one of the four leaders of technology when it comes to valve and valve-related products. And they're constantly evolving. We don't manufacture anything, so we tag on to this. We've got great relationships with them, and we're an approved service provider, official certified provider, which is great. So we then take their technology and take that into the field. We know how to apply that technology and how the client benefits, and there lies the problem.
And do you share your knowledge then with the people like Emerson as to what you'd like to see from the technology?
Yeah, absolutely. We have brainstorming sessions, we talk in cadence meetings, etc. But the oil and gas industry is still very archaic.
Yeah,
you know, and it takes a lot to change the technology, and it's all the approvals that you have to go through to make a change there's not a great deal of people that have got the ambition these days to actually
To do that.
put the head above the parapet and say, this is what we ought to be doing: valve monitoring, valve condition monitoring, which is a big thing, and it would save them an absolute fortune. We know it, they know it, but then making that change, it's not necessarily the expense. It's the time it takes to actually go through all of them approval processes. It's a difficult one. AI, we've really opened our arms with AI.
Amazing.
It's mind blowing, and I think used in the right way, for business, it puts your efficiency through the absolute roof.
Yeah.
We adopt it across the business.
Have you got specific software that you've adopted or used?
Yeah, we've incorporated it into CVS Manager. So we've collaborated and tied in with a team of developers, and they've done a great job for us. They've built it into CVS Manager, so it's not. We can interrogate instruction manuals, for just one example. So part of our CVS Manager, there's a VIM section, Valve Integrity Management System, which all our clients get into. That's all of their valve population. Every valve that we've dealt with since day one is registered in there, all the serial numbers, tag numbers, etc. So you can upload the specification sheets and also the instruction manuals. Now, rather than an engineer going through 200 pages of manual, how do you calibrate this positioner? And it'll give you step by step exactly how to do it, or interrogate it. This is happening. Can you point me in the right direction? And it will come up. Is that phenomenal?
Speeding up your capabilities,
it's making us more efficient, and we've got to become more efficient because the North Sea is still, it's struggling.
Yeah,
with the tax hikes, we're constantly being asked to look at our pricing structure. We just simply can't go any lower than.
Is that just pushing margin all the time?
All the time. It's I can't emphasize enough to our clients that we can't get pushed any further. Otherwise, we won't be.
A business that's 95% UKCS, and this is going to be constant. I mean, it's been constant for the last few years.
Yeah.
Since about 2014, when we came out of what was a peak.
Yeah.
It's been a push for reduction in margin ever since. So there's not going to be much left by this point.
There's definitely
11 years down the road.
You can pull the accounts.
So what's your? Well, my next question was where do you see CVS in 5 years? But is international a big part of that?
We're starting to look at it, Kenny. I've always said we've got to focus on the Aberdeen market, the oil and gas industry, because that's what we've set up for. Our job's not done there. I think there's going to be oil and gas in the North Sea for quite a few years to come. I think it'll see most people out who I employ. So I think there's a good 20, 30, maybe 40 years, possibly.
Anyway.
I don't think it'll be probably the size that it is, but I think new technologies will come in, etc. There'll be a lot of decommissioning, but there'll be a lot of new projects that come on board, and I hope we'll always be around to serve that. Whereas some of the bigger companies, one of our biggest competitors, probably will not see the interest in that because it'll be too low. But we're not talking tens and tens of millions. We can see past 20 million in the North Sea. We can see that.
So you think that's actually a positive then, because your biggest competitor maybe is going to fuck off somewhere else?
I would think so.
Yeah.
I don't see how an investment company can be as competitive as what we are as an independent. We're happy with relatively low margins. This isn't a get rich scheme.
Yeah.
This is a professional business that's trying to do the absolute best. It looks after the employees look after the business, and the business looks after our client base. As long as we're making enough profitability to reinvest into the business. I don't take dividends. I'm not interested. I pay myself an average wage. All the directors are on the same remuneration. We're just out for an honest living. That's what it is. Whereas investment companies,
that's not what they're looking for.
They need return.
So away for CVS then.
Yeah.
What does Mick do when he's relaxing? Because he's never stressed. So what does he do when he's chilling out away for work?
That's another good question. Thinking about work a lot.
Yeah. I think twice I've tried to set this meeting up, and twice you've been doing stuff with your daughter.
Yeah. So I've had I try and spend as much time with the family as we can. We got a dog. We like to do walks
During COVID.
During COVID, yeah. We got the dog before COVID. I don't know. I've got a nice project coming up with my daughter's put an offer in on a first house. I think it'll be accepted. It's a doer-upper. I'm looking forward to putting in a kitchen. Looking forward to putting in a bathroom. Taking a little bit of time out of work to work on something like that. I like to relax when I'm at home. I love cooking. My passion is absolute cooking. That's my decompression. Jen sometimes comes into the kitchen and wants to start talking about work, and I just put an appointment in my diary for tomorrow or the next day, and then we'll have a nice meal, have a glass of wine, we'll watch some telly, and we'll just chill out. I love my Formula One. I like watching Formula One.
I'm guessing that's the reason why you've got that as your...
Yeah, I see it as being the pinnacle of the sport. It's so professional. You know,
all the family live as a Formula One fan.
Excellent. We'll have a natter about this, unless you want to join us.
So there's one. I've got a couple of questions left, but there was one thing I was going to ask that we never fitted in. Was gone back to your younger age when you were at school, when you took the hand grenade to school. What the fuck happened there?
Yeah, a lot of people ask that. Well, a lot of people that know about it.
Where do you get a hand grenade?
So we lived in the middle of nowhere, but there was a munitions base apparently fairly close to us, and I didn't know that at the time. I used to do a lot of digging in fields. I used to find coins, cows' teeth, cows' jaws, swords, all sorts of things. The garage was full of things that I found. I was ever collecting stuff. I'd never kept still. I used to walk the fields with a spade and just dig, and without metal detector. And once I stumbled across this, which as soon as I found it, I swear I knew it was a hand grenade. I run across the fields, run into the house, ran upstairs. My dad was in Bath. He worked down at the limestone quarry. The bathwater was as black as the ace of spades. And I said, "Dad, I found an hand grenade in the field." And he said, "Pass it here, lad." And he took it off me, and he had soil on it. He put it between his legs, and he washed it with his nail brush. And he said, "No, that's the end of a toilet flush, the chain, on the outside, the old outside toilets." Now, that's a good shout, but he's not on the money. I'm definitely on the money. So I put it in my school bag, and it stayed there for about 3 months. So we used to use my school bag and various bags as goalposts in the tennis courts. So the balls were slamming against it and all sorts. And then I was in science one afternoon, or just before lunch. I took it to Mr. Howard for some reason. It wasn't a very nice guy. It was a bit of an arse. Most teachers were back then, I think. So I took it, I put it on his desk. I said, "What do you think to this then?" I said, "I found it in the field. It's a hand grenade." And he said, "No, I think it's a pendulum off a clock. Like Big Ben. Not Big Ben. What's what they called?
Like a grandfather
clock. That's it, on the end of the chain." So similar sort of idea to me dad. So I had it in my pocket. I was lining up for dinner, and was telling people I had an hand grenade in my pocket. There was a little bit of commotion. Dinner lady came and said, "What's going off?" And then somebody said, "Mick's got an hand grenade in his pocket." So she showed me. So I pulled it out. She said, "Come with me." And she marched me to Veronica Kerr's office, the head teacher, the head teacher. So I went in, and the dinner lady said, "Tell Mrs. Kerr what you just told me." So I put it on the desk. So, "God, I found a hand grenade in a field, but nobody believes me." And she never took her eyes off me. She said, "This is going to horrify you, Michael." And she reached for a phone and she said, "I'm going to phone the police." And she rang 999. About an hour later, there's police, there's reporters, there's bomb squad. And when the police came, still on the desk, when the police came, it was two normal bobbies that pitched up. I picked it up and I said, "This is what the fuss is. It's not going to go off. It's just a hand grenade. It's the pin's gone and everything, so it's obviously not going to go off." So as soon as you've got it in your hands, let's go and get it in a sand bucket. We went to the medical office. and they put the sand bucket in the middle and put a hole in it, and I dropped it in. And as I'm walking out, bomb disposal guys all in the suits and everything, the alarm's going off in school. That all got evacuated, so everybody's on the way home on the buses. I was about 20-minute bus ride, but all the buses have left. And then Mr. Howard took me home. I remember getting home, and my dad shouted, "Is that you, Michael?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "You know that hand grenade I found?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "It turns out it was an hand grenade. The school got evacuated, and then the phone rang, and it was one of my dad's friends, and he said, 'Put the radio on, John. Your son's on it.' And they interviewed me, and I was on the local radio. And the next day, I was in the
paper,
local papers, and then the national papers. But the national ones were quite small, so I've got all the newspaper clippings from that. None of them spelt my name right. So yeah, that's how
a random one.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody else has got that story.
No.
So for all the people you've met, and you're very, very good at mentioning names and remembering names.
Yeah.
Is there anybody or any advice that you've been gave that you've kind of kept or worked by?
That's a big question, Kenny. Well, I think I've already mentioned one, Shona, who told me if you feel that you're at the end of the rope, tie a knot in it and hang on. I love that.
That was a big one.
I did that. It really was. It was a big one. I went back to that with COVID when the company was hemorrhaging and everybody around me had collapsed. I was holding on that, and I could really feel myself holding on that rope, thinking, you know what, I'm actually strong enough. I'm not going to let go of this. There's been so many, Kenny. It's difficult. It really is. I've had various mentors. I've just gone back to one of my mentors. Real good guy, but from a personal level as opposed to professional. So how do you get coping mechanisms, and what does the future look like for you personally, kind of thing? Because I don't have a plan. I don't have a future plan. It's just been CVS all, for the last 17 years, and we as a family we don't seem to have much ambition for the future. We're just going through life.
Enjoying what you're doing. Enjoying what you're doing.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're loving it. We love watching the kids growing up. My daughter's now a qualified nurse. We're so proud of her. My son is a straight A student. Looks like he's going to go to uni a year early this year. So uni at 16 is going to be a tough gig, but he's got the intelligence for it. I don't know where that comes from. The academic level that he demonstrates is absolutely unbelievable. He's into physics, he's into maths, wants to be a mechanical engineer, but in the RAF. He's been in the cadets for quite a number of years. So his career path is chosen for him, or he's chosen it. He'll go into the RAF, but through RGU. So once he comes out of RGU, straight in as...
Fantastic.
Yeah, we're so proud of the kids. What CVS has enabled us to do is create a lifestyle for us to concentrate on the kids. It's afforded us that. I mean, the first couple of years we didn't have a pot to piss in. Yeah. Even though I thought after the first trip we'll be millionaires in no time. But it just doesn't work like that in business. And you don't get to where CVS has got to by taking the rewards yourself.
Yeah.
It would have been easy.
It's going to be constant reinvestment all the time.
Absolutely. It would have been easy to get a big house, get a big mortgage, get big flash cars, but I've had to work for absolutely everything. It's only been recently that last 5-6 years that I've been able to get something decent to drive. I absolutely love it. I wouldn't change it for the world, but I'm still paying for it. The last payment's in September. I've had it 5 years. So, it's I'll go back. It's not a get Mick and Jen rich scheme. It's
And last question.
Yeah.
Can you tell us anything that nobody else might know about you?
I don't think there is. Sorry. Boring.
Right. The hand grenade story is good enough.
Yeah, that was a new one. Yeah, I've not told that story for a long time.
But from initial kitchen loan to mental health, to addressing and supporting your team, you're super inspirational. And thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for that, Kenny. Really appreciate that. Yeah, I've enjoyed that. Been good. Thanks.
Cheers.